What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is my review for the 2023 comedy Strays. So Strays is about an abandoned dog, played by Will Ferrell, who teams up with other strays, played by Jamie Foxx, Isla Fisher, Randall Park, and together they team up to try to extract revenge on the former owner. And not just any kind of revenge, biting off the former owner's penis. Yeah, so that premise immediately, to me at least, jumped out. And additionally, I thought the trailer seemed really interesting at selling that idea combined with the humor. Now, what I will say is this. If you're new to the channel, what you should know, at least about me, is that I try to avoid trailers the best that I possibly can. But when it came to Strays, I couldn't help but every time that I was at the theater and I would see the trailer, I couldn't help but actually watch it and say, yeah, I'm definitely going to see that. And I think that maybe it's just because I am a proud dog owner of almost 2 years. And I was like, okay, so this is a movie that's going to be catering towards dog owners. So I'm going to be kind of curious to see if I pick up on a lot of the humor that dog owners will be able to pick up on. Also, the other thing is that in addition to all those elements, I actually got an early screening for this movie. I'm filming this video on August 2nd. This movie doesn't come out until August 18th, so it's 16 days early. So there's no audiences or critics in terms of ratings and everything, at least that I've seen. So I'm going to this as blind as possible other than the trailer. But also, I'm the type of individual that looks at the trailer and a movie as two different things. The trailer is just simply marketing versus the movie. It's the actual product, if you will, or in some cases, art. So what did I think about this movie overall, now that I got all that exposition out of the way? Well, the movie itself, I thought was kind of disappointing, but it did have some positives for sure. I really liked the voice acting. I thought that they all did a really, really good job. Jamie Foxx in particular was a hoot and a half. I thought that he did a really good job with what he was given. I also think that the dogs are just naturally adorable. You can't help, at least as a dog owner, really just look at them and say, oh, wow, they're adorable. And I also think that some of the dog humor did work for me. And some of the humor, I will say, did have me laugh out loud. But that was kind of sporadic. It wasn't, one of those things where it was a laugh out loud ride. It was one of those things where I would chuckle, but there were a couple times where I did truthfully laugh out loud. And I also do think that the movie, at only 93 minutes, it does fly by, I would say, reasonably at least. And I do think that there are some visuals that I thought were interesting, but for the most part, the visual effects in this movie were actually pretty bad. I was kind of surprised by it. There's one scene in particular that involves a, again, trying to, be as vague as possible, but there's a creature that takes a dog, and the creature just did not look convincing in the slightest. And there was a lot of focus on this creature, and it just did not look good. It looked early 2000s animal CGI. I was kind of shocked by that. Additionally, there's fire in this movie, and the fire does not look good at all. Again, I was kind of surprised by those elements because I thought that they would either not really have those elements, because I think personally they weren't really needed, or they would have it where there was a lot of the budget that was focused on those elements. But clearly the budget went to the actors. Just the bottom line. And I will also say this. The movie itself, the premise I mentioned that, yeah, the 93 minutes did breeze by for the most part, but the actual concept I feel like would have worked better as a short movie because it is stretching itself thin. Like, there are a lot of comedy cliches in this movie. Again, trying to be vague here without spoiling anything, but every cliche that you can think of from a comedy movie, this movie has it. I'm not even kidding. And then also there are things that happen in the third act just because. Again, just because. And I think that there are potential for the themes and messages, like, such as like a toxic relationship. There was a lot of potential for that to actually be fleshed out and well developed. But I thought for the most part it was kind of half-baked, which is a shame because I feel like if you're trying to combine comedy and drama, which by the third act, I would argue that the movie does have that whole trope of, trying to be funny in the third act, getting serious, and then it goes back to being funny. But I feel like with the elements that they have, again, with those themes, should have been more fleshed out with sprinkles of it even more so throughout. And then the third act really hitting home the themes. But by the end, it ends all happy. Again, trying to be as vague as possible, but it ends all happy. And I just couldn't help but feel as though it wasn't really earned. This is a journey that is very forgettable too, which is a shame. But again, if you like the trailer, I will say that overall, you get what you're paying for, that's for sure. It's just instead of watching in 2 minutes, you're watching in 93 minutes. That's just the bottom line. It does have its moments for sure. And again, I do like the voice acting. I do think the chemistry between them is good. But at the end of the day, it's a very middle of the road-ish kind of comedy that just has filmmaking that is very bland. I forgot to even mention the soundtrack and the cinematography. Both are just very bland. I thought the cinematography just, it could have been so much better. There was a lot of shallow focus, but for the most part, just really didn't work. I just found it to be a visually kind of bland looking movie. If the dogs weren't there, it'd be even more so. But thankfully, the dogs are there, so it does make for somewhat of a visual pleasing experience. But still, I can't really recommend this movie. I can't. But I will say that if you like Strays, I can see where, with where you're coming from. But alas, here I am. I was disappointed by Strays, and is why I personally will be giving it a... But yeah, guys, Strays, have you seen it yet? Have you not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the movie itself. Again, I'm very, very curious to hear your guys' thoughts because I can see this being a hit with audiences, but I can also see why, if it isn't a hit, as to why it is. Because again, I think that it's a very bleh kind of comedy. And I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to forget about this movie in a day, which is a shame because this is a movie about dogs trying to bite someone's penis off. And a movie that has that premise should not be forgettable. But alas, here we are. So yeah, again, guys, curious to hear your guys' thoughts on Strays. Let me know down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me down Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.